Just think, the far left has gone so nutty on so many issues.
That's what they're being told.
That's what they,
By people like you.
because it's true. You think the far left does nothing crazy?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Oh, well then.
But I don't know.
After watching Jane Fonda deliver what could only be described as a masterclass in wokeness, Bill Maher, ever the maestro of smirks and skeptical eye rolls, could hardly contain his delight. What began as polite banter quickly morphed into a full-scale roast, where history clashed head-on with modern outrage. Viewers were left wondering if they were witnessing a talk show or an undercover comedy battle. And then came the twist, unexpected, razor-sharp, and wickedly funny.
Yeah, well, give me one.
Okay, the NAACP.
You think the NAACP is one?
Could I finish my sentence?
Yes.
You asked me for an example.
Yeah.
The NAACP last year issued a travel advisory. You know, that's like the State Department does to go to, I'm sure, when you went to Vietnam.
After witnessing Jane Fonda serve up a full-blown masterclass in wokeness, Bill Maher, the undisputed king of sly smirks and skeptical eye rolls, looked positively thrilled. What started as a civil exchange soon spiraled into a comedic firefight, where history and modern outrage collided in spectacular fashion. Viewers were left questioning whether they were watching a talk show or a roast in disguise. Then came the twist, sharp, unpredictable, and wickedly hilarious.
Then I'm hoping you're a Republican. Are you?
I'm not anymore. I officially left 2020 when he tried to steal the election and everybody went along with it. So I'm sad to tell you that I have to disappoint you. I'm no longer a Republican.
That's too bad. I wanted to be able to say we had Republicans signing on.
To top it off, perched on her metaphorical soapbox, Fonda championed justice, equality, and yes, possibly the end of plastic straws. Meanwhile, Maher looked like he'd just come face-to-face with the final boss of wokeness right there in his own studio. Words deserted him. His expression did all the talking, a perfect mix of satire, disbelief, and sheer comedic timing.
As long as you're on the team of the woke, you can't make fun of the things that they prize. As long as you're making fun of the stuff that the kind of people of the woke fight against, which are white trash. I can make 1,000 jokes about Donald Trump. You'll never see on Twitter, because the woke are the ones who do that. The conservatives, they may not like the fat jaw Donald Trump, but they are a lot easier.
Laughing yet amazed, Bill Maher wasn't mocking good causes. He values them when rooted in reality. But Jane Fonda, draped in an upcycled silk scarf, was deep in performance mode, sounding like the newly crowned president of moral virtue. Maher raised a symbolic glass of reason, thinking, here we go again. Their clash, his sarcasm versus her sincerity, was pure comedy gold. It perfectly captured Hollywood's flair for performative guilt. Fonda's passion was undeniable. She can turn any protest into a red carpet moment. Maher, ever the observer, needed only one raised eyebrow to expose the absurdity. He doesn't hate progress, just hypocrisy.
That I, who am...
No, Jane,
What?
it's not minuscule, and I'm sorry you can't throw this back on us. I assume it's because you are locked into media that just never wants anyone in their audience to know anything sketchy.
After all, Hollywood remains the only place where people board private jets to climate summits, then scold the rest of us for not composting enough. Jane Fonda has witnessed every phase of that spectacle. Yet these days, her activism feels more like a brand rollout than a movement. Maher called out the absurdity of celebrities who preach minimalism from mansions that could house small towns. In this world, virtue signaling has replaced real conviction, and every cause comes with a PR team. Jane's passion is undeniable, but her latest crusade feels like it comes with a corporate sponsor, maybe even Whole Foods.
I mean, I don't know. I read 2 papers, and maybe I don't. I should watch Fox News,
Oh,
I guess.
I don't. That's too far. But you don't have to.
After it all oozed with polished, rehearsed outrage, the kind that's camera-ready and curated for Instagram. If outrage were an Olympic event, Jane Fonda, would out-medal Michael Phelps. Bill Maher didn't need to say much. He just smirked and let the irony do the talking. Because, let's be honest, Hollywood activism always finds a way to eat itself. One day you're saving the whales, the next you're canceling someone for exhaling incorrectly. Ever the cultural critic, Maher kept swatting away the nonsense with his trademark wit. And while Jane's intentions were noble, her message collapsed under the sheer weight of her own self-importance.
Whole Foods has targeted her current activism.
I'm 87 years old. I've seen war, repression, protest, and backlash. I've been celebrated and I've been branded an enemy of food. But I can tell you this is the most frightening moment of life. That's pretty chilling.
This is a very good time. You know, we've faced attempts at autocracy before in the 1930s, and you've cited the example of McCarthyism. There was Jim Crow.
Fonda spoke as if every sentence were a turning point in human history, while the rest of the world was just trying to make rent. In her version of reality, apologies come with price tags and silence is a luxury item. She personifies the celebrity illusion that passion can substitute for practicality. Her speech grew so dramatically overblown that even her fellow activists seemed ready for intermission. Maher didn't have to say a word. The collective sigh from viewers said everything. It was the Oscars of performative activism.
Term all the time, and it means something different to everybody.
Well, again, I think it's a collection of ideas that are not building on the liberalism, but very often undoing it. I mean, years ago, Abraham Lincoln was not a controversial figure among liberals. We liked him. Now they take his name off schools and tear down his statues. Really? Lincoln isn't good enough for you? 5-10 years ago, bedrock liberalism was, we are striving.
Fonda delivered her lines as if each one were rewriting the course of human history, while everyone else was just trying to cover next month's rent. In her universe, apologies are transactional and silence is a privilege reserved for the wealthy. She embodies the Hollywood delusion that passion alone can replace practicality. As her speech swelled with theatrical flair, even her fellow activists looked ready to call it a wrap. Maher didn't need to interrupt. The collective eye roll from viewers said it all. It was less a rally and more an award show for performative activism.
Make no mistake, empathy is not weak or woke. And by the way, woke just means you give a damn about other people.
You can be woke with all the nonsense that now implies, but don't say that somehow it's an extension of liberalism.
Right.
Because it's most often actually an undoing of liberalism.
Hollywood will always applaud her. While Jane Fonda lights candles for every cause, Bill Maher quietly snuffs out the ones that defy reason. That's what made this exchange so striking. Maher wasn't attacking Fonda herself. He was pulling the curtain back on a culture that prizes noise over nuance, where hashtags masquerade as progress. His dry wit still outpaces the self-congratulating sprint of the woke movement. Fonda continues to project moral gravitas with every pause and pose, while Maher sits back, amused, wearing the grin of a man who's seen this performance one too many times.
So, defund the police, though, was not a good idea, and you know who mostly didn't think it was a good idea was black people, because they want police in their neighborhoods, probably more than we need them in ours. But the Republicans tried to catch the Democrats with this, and they put this on, they brought it up in Congress, and all the Democrats voted against it. The Democratic politicians were not for defunding the police.
Jane Fonda became its most devoted evangelist, convinced that reusable bamboo could single-handedly save humanity. She was everywhere on panels and interviews at rallies talking about everything all the time.
On these things, but don't try to piggyback on, I have always believed, as liberals do, for example, in a colorblind society, that the goal is to not see race at all anywhere for any reason.
Yes.
That's what liberals always believed the way through. Obama, going back, Kennedy, everybody, Martin Luther King. That's not what the woke believe. They believe race is first and foremost the thing you should always see everywhere, which I find interesting because that used to be the position of...
Jane Fonda emerged as its most zealous evangelist, firmly believing that reusable bamboo held the secret to humanity's salvation. She seemed to be everywhere. Panels, interviews, rallies, speaking passionately about everything, all at once.
I know, but you know a travel advisory.
Yeah.
Today we have them very dangerous countries.
Yeah.
Don't go to North Korea. Don't go to Iran.
Yeah.
You know where they issued a travel advisory for black people not to?
Yeah.
Florida. Nobody ever gets canned being too woke. So you can say the craziest thing, like, and can have babies, and then nobody will, even though people are thinking, well, it's kind of nuts, nobody will say it. They'll just fall in line. Yeah, exactly.